All right, so here we are in TrueReview. We've just added our business and connected the location. And what TrueReview did is it went out and it went ahead and found various third-party sites that it could match up with the client information, right? So what we're going to do in this video is walk through the setup of the review funnel, if you will. How to set that up. This is kind of primarily the primary like landing page that people will go to ultimately leave a review for your client. So let's just look at how that's set up. This is all operated out of the funnel tab here, and you'll see there's links, content, and setup, right? Again, right out of the funnel tab, links, content, setup. Okay, so we'll walk through this really quick and kind of just give you some insight on how all of this works. Okay, so again, once you connect your business, this is just the business information. Okay, there's nothing we need to do here unless we needed to edit that for whatever reason, but typically we don't because we connect it right from Google. Okay, now for the third-party sites, it's ultimately going to connect what it could go ahead and just find right away on your client's business in terms of matching up the information. There's a lot of flexibility here, okay? So it ultimately connected these sites. So if I don't want any reviews on any of these specific sites, I can just check or uncheck them, okay? So say city search isn't that important to my client and getting reviews there, then I can just uncheck it. So it's not even an option, okay? Again, I can also just remove it if I wanted to. So in this instance, city search, Foursquare, YP, Yellow Pages, I would turn those off. Basically, it boils down to what is important to my client. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you in terms of strategy that I'm going to let you know that Google is probably the most important website that you're going to want to get your client reviews on. Now, it's okay if for whatever reason that's not your client's most biggest priority. You can still list other sites. Also, I can just FYI, I can drag. You can see this kind of blue outline. Whatever site is here is the site that is going to be highlighted at the top. Basically, so once someone either comes to this page and sees the buttons, for example, like this, right? You can see how Google's up top. That's because Google is highlighted on the review here. Now understand this is not, this is what this is, okay? Just understand this is, I got two versions so you can see what it looks like set up and also what it looks like when it's not set up. But ultimately, when someone clicks the link up here, right, that goes to your funnel, which will ultimately look like this based on how you configure it here. Okay, so in this instance, I just have Google and Facebook selected, and I have all these other ones off. I also have a different type of funnel, which we'll walk through here in just a second. But understand that I'm going to tell you, priority-wise, Google is probably the most important here, simply because having reviews on Google also impacts your client's ability to show up in Google organic rankings in the search engines for like SEO purposes. Even more important in the maps listings, right? So, having their Google My Business, as you can see here, getting the most reviews there is going to help them show up in the maps. Okay, so just a little tactic and or strategy insight there. But look, also there's other sites we can add here. If I can go through here, they obviously list major ones, and also Yelp defaults to off, simply because understand Yelp, they really don't want anyone encouraging any types of reviews. They're just very, very, very stringent. However, you do have the ability to turn it on. Okay, you can turn on Yelp if you want. Okay, just understand it defaults checked off simply because Yelp is not a fan of it, and if Yelp feels that you are trying to game the system in terms of sending reviews or sending people to Yelp specifically for reviews, they could potentially flag your client's profile on Yelp. Okay, this is also why I'm saying Google is probably your biggest priority, simply because it has the biggest impact. to business. But again, Yelp, some businesses thrive on Yelp, so it may be something you want to turn on there. Back to adding listings. If there is something I want to add, right, that didn't automatically populate, I can absolutely do that. I can put BBB, like any of these. There's directory sites, social media, local specific, and there's some niche specific things. If they're a car dealer, maybe it's important in some of these sites. Here's auto repair, consumer advocacy, dentistry, restaurants and dining, education, schools, elder care, financial services, healthcare, home services. Okay, these are big for especially like Home Advisor, Angie's List, house for some of our like our plumbers and businesses like that. Here's employment, lawyers, movers, pet services, property rental. Then there's actually specifically real estate, beauty salons, software, travel and hospitality, the wedding industry, products, and then there's location type industries, type websites. There's Canada, here's UK, here's Australia, and then here's just some other general type sites. And then if there's something that's not listed, you can absolutely do a custom link here, and you could put a image if you wanted to put like a thumbnail, what the text would say, the URL, and any kind of custom things you would want to put there. But bottom line is you can add a custom link. And also really quick down here, if that I'll highlight this review now. If I wanted to not worry about a third-party site, right, I could absolutely just capture, and it actually explains here. It actually lets customers leave a review without worrying about trying to send them to some third-party site. This is just if I just want to capture reviews just internally. I'm not worried about getting reviews on Facebook or Google. I just want to capture them and like put them on a website or whatnot. But I'm going to encourage you to use at a minimum Google, and if not Google, or if anything, Google and Facebook for sure, because reviews, I'll show you here in a bit, where reviews can actually be from these sites can be embedded on your customers, your clients' websites anyway. So you might as well capture them on some third-party sites, so you can use them and kind of kill two birds with one stone. All right, so that's the listings. This notifications here, this is just if who you want to be notified when a review comes in. You can just put your client's email. So if you want your client to see every review that comes in, you can add them here. You can also add yourself if you want to get notified every time a new review comes in on one of these specific sites. Okay, so that's notifications, and then social links right here. That's if I want to like have my client's Facebook page. You would just put the page ID, or Twitter or Instagram. I'm typically not running these social media links simply because I want the customer to focus on leaving the review. Okay. Now let's go into the content. So once we understand what listing sites we want to get reviews on, and got our email set up so that we get notified when an email comes in, a review comes in. Also, again, I can add my client there as well if I want them to see every new review. Content. Okay. This is where you can customize this kind of landing page here. All right. So as you can see, this text right here is the text that's up top here. Okay. Right here, this text is this text right here. Very simple. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now, based on the type of landing page that I'm using. Okay. So in this instance, let's just jump to setup really quick. I want to show you this. See right here where it says stars? Okay, it's in the setup. Okay, right now this is stars, right? So right here is where I can change it into the different formats. Okay, so I just wanted you to know that's where that is. We're going to come back to this here in just a second. Now, because I have it on stars, I'm essentially saying, hey, I want to be able to control what happens when someone, based on the type of review someone leaves, right? So one of the powerful things about being able to use something like TrueReview here for our clients is we can help sell this as helping them get positive reviews and protecting them against negative reviews, okay? The reason why is simply because when we use a kind of vote, hey, how do you rate us, right? By using something like this, right? We can kind of capture people. So if someone says, hey, it's 5 stars, awesome, right? So you see what happens here? It jumps to Google. You see how it highlights Google? That's because here in the links, we have Google up in the highlight, okay? You can see Facebook because it's also checked. It's right here, right? Okay. So let's just look at this really quick, okay? We pretty much said, hey, if someone leaves a 4 stars or more, so 4 or 5 stars, then go ahead and show them this message, public review request message. Hey, thank you. We need your help. You can see it all right here, right? And you can customize this with italics and different words. Would you share your experience on one of these sites, right? So if they click Google, right, or Facebook, then they're going to be taken to whatever site they click on, right? So they can leave a review on that site, all right? Now, so let's say, let me see if I can reset this. How do I reset this? There it is. Okay. Now, because I have it set for 4 or more stars, right, to go ahead and take them to the review, that means if they leave anything less than 4 stars, let's just say they do 3, okay? Now they get this message, the private feedback workflow, okay? What this is designed to do is to say, hey, you know what? You didn't really enjoy our service, or it didn't meet, obviously you didn't meet the standards that we set. We're concerned. We want to hear from you. We know this message right here, okay? Here. So that means I can adjust this to say whatever I want, okay? Now, when they fill in this information, it's basically like a little contact form. Then what will happen is when they send message, it'll go, I'll show you to where that goes in the dashboard so that basically the client can respond to that, right? We can address this issue. So this does a couple different things, right? So they put 3 stars or less, they get taken to this form. And ultimately, what that's doing for us is it's saving a bad review from going out onto the internet. But more importantly, it actually is raising awareness to your client that something that this customer didn't have a great experience, okay? Now, we'll correct the note. So see this right here? If you do not wish to address your concerns here and prefer to post a review, click here. It will take them to the reviews, okay? So we're not technically review gating. We kind of are in a way. So you might hear the term review gating, which is saying, hey, if someone wants to leave a bad review, you're telling them not to do it. Well, that's not really the case here because we've given them the opportunity still that they can absolutely still leave a review, okay? But what we're trying to do, obviously with the bigger message here, is we're trying to say, hey, let us know what's going on. This way your client has an opportunity to make this customer, make things right with this customer, right? They not only get awareness of the bad experience this customer had, but they also get a chance to address it so that potentially this customer that wasn't going to leave a good review, maybe we can get them to leave a good review, right? Now, when they fill this information out, it doesn't go out to the internet. Like it just comes to your client. And I'll show you in the dashboard where these messages actually go as well, but they'll also get a message. And ultimately, that allows your client the ability to reach out and make things right with this specific customer if it's something that they can affect. Now, this you can see here, this is the form. You can customize this. And when you click custom, there's like different things you can put some HTML, but I would suggest just sticking to the contact form. So it just pops up here, okay? All right. Now, right here, continuing on the content, let's go back. See where it says this 5-star, 4-star, 3. This is just the word. See how I'm hovering over the 1 star and it says bad right there, right? Bad. That's what this is here. Same thing here, right? All this, you can change those to say whatever you want, okay? We're not going to talk about attaching an offer here. Showing a review stream. This is if I could check this box and basically it'll put reviews at the bottom of this landing page, okay? I can show reviews. I can show just the aggregate rating, basically all the reviews combined, or I can just show reviews. I don't have to show that. Also, you notice how it pulls the review. It shows last names. If I check this box, it'll just show last initial, and that's what I usually suggest you do, just so your clients' customers aren't getting bombarded for whatever reason, because these reviews are public anyway, right? Anyway, I recommend not running the review stream on the landing page. That's just my preference. I want them to focus on just leaving a review, not looking at other people's reviews. However, you can absolutely do that if you want. Contact info autofill, that means if their information's like saved already, it'll just pre-populate. I just leave it checked because in the instance that it does detect any kind of pre-filled information, it can just populate it quickly for your client or for the customer, so that, again, less friction for them to leave feedback. Okay. Now, you can absolutely change this for these thresholds, for these stars. I can even make it so that it doesn't matter what they pick, they'll automatically get a chance to leave a review. So even if they click 1, they're still taken to this. Oh, and here's the right here. If you have concerns you wish to address in private, please get in touch. That one is here on the prompted message. I couldn't figure. I knew I'd seen it earlier, but I couldn't remember where it was. All right. So anyway, that means what I'm kind of doing here for this message. It means if, say, I do open it up, that anyone can leave a review, and I have it say 3 stars or 2 star or whatever, all, and they do pick whatever, it doesn't really matter. This message is here in case they do want to leave a message, right? It goes right to the contact form, okay? Now, one other thing so here's my recommendation. If you're running any kind of stars or, there's other different ones that we can look at here in just a minute. I'm going to recommend that you do it 4 stars or more are able to leave a review, right? And anything less, so basically 4 stars or more, and then if they click 3 or less, they're going to get the contact form. So if you're going to run this style, I recommend running 4 and up. I also actually recommend, or have you consider, depending on what sites you're trying to get reviews on, if you click Use Smart Auto Direct, let me see if it shows it here on the, okay. See right here on where it says logged in, okay. Whenever you check this and the customer, right, ends up on one of these sites here, it'll show them and or auto direct to whichever of the sites that they're logged in, that the customer's already logged into, to make it easier for them to leave a review. So for example, if the customer, they clicked 4 stars and they got shown this page, if they were already logged in, now say I'm logged into both Google and Facebook, it would redirect to just whatever my top site is. So in this case, it would have been Google. If you want to create less friction and make it easier for the customers to leave a review, I suggest checking that box, or at least testing it. That's what the Smart Auto Direct is, all right? And you can read more about it here and all that. All right, cool. Now, let's just go quickly to the setup, and we'll be done the funnel actual setup here, right? So understand that whatever I put here is what shows here, okay? The short name for the URL, whatever your URL is, I can change this, right? Typically, you're just going to put whatever the business is. Again, we typically set this up for you initially, but you can change this at any time, and it'll change the review link. Just make sure you do it before you start handing out this review link, because this review link, right, to this landing page is what you're ultimately going to be that customers are going to end up getting, right? This is the link that they get sent in emails or whatever methods that you are using for your client to help them get reviews, which we'll discuss in a different video, different methods on obtaining reviews. But this link is the link to the landing page. So if you start changing this after you've already been giving it out to people, it won't work, right? And no one's going to be able to leave a review. So don't mess with this once you set it, okay? Logo. I can just upload a logo. And that's where it'll show here, okay? Whatever language, right? Show business name text. If I have this checked, then it would also say Alive Fitness here. But since my logo, right, for my client already has the name of the business in there, I would just be unchecking this, okay? Brand color, Like you can absolutely change the color. Let's see here. I'll show you where that is. Like I can make it here. It's whatever. It's the color here. Okay. So that's what that is. I can also apply brand colors to buttons, right? So that, well, there is no buttons here. But anyway, bottom line is this red or whatever I switch here is going to show here. In this case, I have it matched up to my client's colors. Okay. Header image, I can add basically another image up here, which I'm not running. And then that's really it. I can also do custom CSS, all this other stuff, but I typically not playing around with it. I keep it very, very, very simple. So it looks like this. Now, let me show you. So I showed you the stars, right? We already see that's the stars. Let's look at some of the other different options, okay? So understand any of these three up here is going to give you direct. It's basically when they click on the landing page link or go to the review link, the customer's just going to see the sites, just like this. They're just going to come here, and there is no stars. There is no thumbs up or anything. It's just, hey, leave a review, okay? This is the method that you want to run. So in this case, I'm running big buttons. Let's just watch. It'll show me a preview, right? See? That's exactly what I'm running here. I'm running big buttons, okay? Because in this instance, my client is sending me a list of customers every week that I'm essentially bringing in to the system to help leave reviews, okay? So I'm not worried about review gating, essentially, right? I'm not worried about segmenting off people that click 3 or 4 stars or whatever. I'm not really worried about that, okay? So if you're not worried about that, or right, you're like, well, I don't want to do any kind of segmenting or review gating, then just pick one of the top 3 up here. I would suggest the big buttons. It makes them stand out, depending on how many different types of sites that you're trying to get reviews on, right? So look, if I click Yellow Pages, if I add City Search, Foursquare, if I start adding all these things, if I add Yelp, right? Now I have all these things. I may decide to change up and do something like small buttons, right? Something like that. And I'll show you what that looks like. See how it's a little bit smaller. Remember, the one that is at the top in this kind of outlined thing is always the one that's going to be bigger up here, okay? It's the one that's highlighted. That's the one where you're like, look, I'm going to give them options, but I really, really want them to leave reviews here. That's kind of what this is for, okay? All right. Now, if I want to do segmenting, right, like I showed you the stars, but look, there's all kinds of options. You can do thumbs up, hearts. These two are just kind of, okay, review first. Let's just go to review first. Review first is kind of what I talked about, where you're not really worried about, a third-party review, right? It's just going to present this right here. This doesn't go anywhere but to you, all right? And it'll collect in your reviews, and you can put these, on your website or whatever, right? See, I further authorize, in this case, Live Fitness, to republish my review. You're essentially collecting this because you don't care about getting reviews for your client on Yelp or Google or Facebook, but you do want to collect reviews so that you can use them on the client's website, on social media, whatever, okay? But look, you can still do that anyway. So I'm going to suggest you not do that and actually pick one of the other methods, okay? But look, you can do hearts, and it's really no different than the stars, right? Everything works the same depending on what they pick, is where they're going to go. It's just it's just a design thing, okay? And I'll show you the thumbs up and thumbs down, right? The only methods that I would suggest you just focus on, just for simplicity, is I would either do thumbs up, thumbs down, right? Very, very, very easy. I had a good experience. I had a bad experience. And look, when we do that, understand it changes over here, right? So because now I'm doing the thumbs instead of like 4 stars or more, now it's like, hey, thumbs up can review. And basically, if they don't say thumbs up, right, they're going to get the contact form. That's what it's saying, right? But if they leave thumbs up, they get the opportunity to leave a review. So I'm going to suggest the thumbs up or thumbs down. That's a very simple one to implement. And also prevents the customers from really having to think too hard. Did I have a good experience or bad experience, right? You can do stars, because stars is one of the age-old review systems that people just know, right? and that gives you a little bit more flexibility here, right? Hey, only 4 stars or more can leave a review, blah, blah, blah. Or you run it how I'm showing here, which is just big buttons, okay? And again, out of all of this, once the funnel's all said and done, right, when it's all set up, the link right here will take you to whatever your landing page is, okay? Now, again, I'm going to suggest the big buttons if you're not terribly worried about the segmenting, or thumbs up, the thumbs or the stars if you're worried about segmenting, okay? So that's the funnel itself. In the next couple videos, we're going to start showing different ways to use this funnel, where the reviews go, what that all looks like, reporting, so on and so forth. So with that,